All right, so the Raiders are sitting with the number 6 overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, and one name that keeps popping up is Arizona's stud wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan, or short for T-Mac. Now, he lit it up in college football with the University of Arizona, and the Raiders, we do have a need for like a legit outside wide receiver one type of guy, and a guy like T-Mac could potentially be a good fit for the Raiders. But also the Raiders are a team that I just feel like in general they have a lot of needs. So should they pull the trigger on this wide receiver? We're talking about a 6'5", 210-pound wideout with impressive speed that's been snagging balls left and right in college football. But there are some stuff to consider before saying, yep, he's the guy at 6. But let's just dive in and figure out whether or not McMillan could be the missing piece for the Raiders. Now, like I said, he's been pretty productive in college football. In 2023, he had 90 receptions, 1,400 yards, 10 touchdowns. Last season, 84 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 8 touchdown passes. And just to get a sense of who he is as a player, his pros, obviously that size and frame at 6'5", around 210 pounds. He has that prototypical build for like an NFL X receiver. He has really good ball skills and hands in general. He's exceptional at the catch point, shows super strong and reliable hands, does a good job tracking the ball on deep throws. And really, one of his biggest traits is he consistently wins those 50-50 balls with the ability to high point and out-muscle defensive backs. Also, he is a little bit versatile. He can line up on the outside in the slot and even in tight formations, creating mismatches against smaller nickel cornerbacks. Also, he has a good run after the catch ability. Despite him being 6'5", he has a very fluid movement, has a good stride. And lastly, I would say the red zone threat, the type of presence you're gonna get on these back shoulder fades or on these jump balls. And really, he's a guy that if you throw it to his vicinity, he does a good job of making catches. And essentially, if you hit him in the hands, he's not going to drop it. Now, some of the things he needs to work on is his top end speed is definitely not elite. And ideally, that's what you're looking for a top end wide receiver. He lacks that elite top end speed to take potential short yard catches all the way to the house. Another thing I see with this game is the consistency to create separation, especially against man-to-man coverage. Sometimes he does struggle to create consistent separation and the ability to run sharp routes. And you just watch his film. A lot of times he is making great plays, but a lot of the times it is against contested catches. And ideally, you would like to see him create separation more often. His release package also needs to be refined as well. He can be disrupted by physical cornerbacks that can match his frame. And his footwork and overall explosiveness isn't always, super great out the gate. Now, overall, when you're talking about Tetairoa McMillan, he only had 2 drops all season long, and like I said, he's a guy that's a sure-handed wide receiver, good frame. I see a lot of people comparing him to like a Drake London, and I could definitely see something like that. The Atlanta Falcons, they selected Drake London with the 8th overall pick, and so far Drake London has been a guy that his first couple seasons in the NFL was just shy of 1,000 yards. This season he kind of broke out about 1,200 yards, just shy of 10 touchdown passes. And just yesterday we got the news that his pro day he ran a 4.8 40-yard dash. Now, honestly, on tape, he looks more of like a 4.6 type of guy, but still, he has really impressive athleticism for his size and frame, just as lacking that elite top end speed when it comes to taking passes all the way to the house. But he's a great red zone, big body wide receiver, great timing, and more times than not, he's going to win those type of 50-50 jump ball passes, fade routes. Now, really, my biggest concern with McMillan is the fact that I just do not see an elite level when it comes to route running skills. A lot of times I'm seeing he doesn't create a whole lot of separation, and I'm just scared that at the next level, he's not going to be as productive if he's fully reliant on tough contested throws. If at times he wasn't able to create separation at the college level, what is it going to look like at the next level where the athleticism of NFL defensive backs is a lot better? He is also a wide receiver that, at least at this point, he cannot run the full route tree. And ideally, with a 6th overall pick, if I'm drafting a wide receiver that high, I'm hoping that he's going to be the next bona fide wide receiver one type of player. I'm talking to Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill type of player when it comes to impact and production, and I really don't know if I see that with T-Mac. I am a little bit worried that maybe his success would due to him just being so much more physically dominant than his competition. But at the next level, that's not going to be the case. And also too, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about how the Raiders, for example, that they should stay away from the quarterback class this season just due to the fact that it's not a strong class. But if you're going to use that logic, I feel like you should also use it at the wide receiver position. I don't see this wide receiver class being super strong, especially compared to last year. I mean, you look at a guy like Malik Neighbors, for example. I don't know if a guy like McMillan is going to have that type of impact in his rookie season like a Malik Neighbors. To me, a prospect like Malik Neighbors was much better. So that is something to keep into consideration. Now, I will say I do like him, but I just don't know if I like him at number 6. Also, too, I mean, I feel like, yes, the wide receiver position is a position of need for the Raiders, but I don't know if I have ranked the position of wide receiver higher than other positions like the linebacker position, the cornerback spot, or even if like a defensive tackle like Mason Graham was there. If they're on the board, I'm definitely taking them over T-Mac. Now, he is a good receiver, but I don't know, man. We have Brock Bowers, which you could look at it a couple different ways. You could look at it as, hey, we already have a type of player in Brock Bowers that can give you wide receiver 1 type of numbers. Maybe we should target that position later in the draft or through free agency. Or you could also look at it like a guy like T-Mac paired up with Brock Bowers. That could be a scary thought. But still, like I said earlier, to me, it's all about if I'm drafting a wide receiver that high, I want him to be like the next Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, that type of level impact for him. I don't really see that with T-Mac. I think he is going to be a super reliable wide receiver at the next level. He's going to be a really good possession guy. I love that he has strong hands, does really good in contested catches, and he's a very good athlete given his frame. But just with all this being said, I don't know, man. I just feel like at number 6, it's a little bit too rich for me. Personally, with the first round pick, there are other options that I'd rather take over T-Mac at this point. But I will say with the Raiders already having a legit wide receiver 1 type of guy in Brock Bowers, and adding a guy like T-Mac to be like the 1B type of guy to this offense, that could be very interesting. But personally, there are other options I'd rather take over him at the 6th overall pick. Now, if the Raiders somehow trade back in the draft a little bit, if he goes past the top 10, then I think you can definitely consider it. But we'll just have to see what happens. Honestly, I would not be shocked if this new regime with their first round pick, they ultimately go defense this season. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of T-Mac as a prospect? Do you think the Raiders should select him with the number 6 overall pick? Let me know in that comment section down below. But with that being said, Raider Nation, that is all for you guys in today's video. Anybody that is new to the channel, you guys love Raider related content just like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. That being said, I will see you guys in the next one.